This video is to demonstrate how my room temperature sensor works using the Arduino Uno. First I have my code from my Arduino IDE. As you can see, it reads in the Celsius value from my room temperature sensor, prints it to the serial. It also reads data from the serial, which is written from Python Flask. Show where that is. First of all, I'll show the serial reading in the temperature. That's the temperature being read in. Now my Python Flask has all these modules. That is the device, the Arduino on the port. I'm also taking in an API for an open weather map. That's the key that I use. Now what it does is reads in the information from my Arduino and strips it and decodes it. I'll print it just so I can see what that looks like. This gives me a value of my Celsius. Furthermore, this goes on to take in the information using the API and Melbourne's Celsius degrees and stored it into the variable W. I also print that to check that it is. This is a conditional rule using the API data. It says that if the temperature is over 27 degrees, I encode A. And as you can see in here, if my serial data reads A, turns on the light. However, if it's B, turns the light back off. This is the config that I use to write to my SQL database. That is how it looks. These are the inputs. I've got my input ID, which increments. Then the room ID, just in case you had multiple temperature sensors in different rooms. That's the inside temperature and the outside temperature. It then inserts the information into the database as a string, and then it sleeps for 5 minutes, so it's not constantly updating it. So if this all works well and I run this, it's very slow as it's on a virtual machine. Now if I was to run this, that's the inside temperature and the outside temperature. I can see those being inputted into here by using select all. So that's the current database. Do I select this is the new database of the new information? As you can see, there's another input. Now I use Python Flask. Just stop that. To create a web page and take in the information that I have stored in my database to render a table in HTML. This here gets the information. Selects it, orders by input ID. I only wanted to show the most recent value, so we should be able to see the one that I've just taken into the database. I also store them. I input ID as string, room ID as string, inside temperature as an integer. I have to turn it to a float first and then break it down into an integer, and same with the outside temperature. So instead of having a decimal. Now I did this because I was planning to use a JavaScript module called JustGauge. However, through various attempts I was unable to make it work. Storing it inside these variables here. The template data then gets sent to the my HTML page, my room temp HTML page, which you can see here. Those variables are passed into there, and then it produces the output. Now, currently, those are from input ID 6. So if I was to run the Flask running Flask, okay, so it's running now. Whoopsie. Now this should change the input to the most recent one. There it is. Now just to show how my conditional rule works, stop this. As we can see from this, the outside temperature is currently 19 degrees. So what I can do is adjust my conditional rule, which will hopefully make this 15 degrees Celsius. So now it should turn on the red light as it is currently above 15 degrees Celsius. So if I run this code, just taking a bit to run. Okay. Oh, there it goes. So now the light flicks on and off. And it will do this for 5 minutes. And if the temperature has gone under what it needs to be, then it will turn back off again. You can demonstrate that by changing this back to 27, stopping that. As you can see, it's still running. Now if I press run, the conditional rule set back. It has been done. And the light has stopped flicking. So there you go. That is my Arduino Uno project.